feet, this is a shakedown. Order up that beat just like it's takeout.
Hey guys, welcome back to episode 4 of Unemployable. Today, my guest is Jessica Layne.
Hi.
We met through LinkedIn, as I've met a lot of my guests, and we really clicked. Jessica, introduce yourself. Tell us who you are, what you've been doing, things like that.
Am a lot of things. Too much if you ask the wrong people. I'm a creative director of copy. I'm a messenger, brand voice strategist, and content strategist and content manager. And I have a background as a copywriter.
And have you been on the job market? Have you been looking the past few years?
Yes, I was laid off from my full-time copywriting job in September of 2023. And so for the last 2 years and some months, I've only been able to find part-time work, even though I have 13 years of experience in my field.
Yeah. Yeah, it's wild out there. That's for sure.
Flawless.
Yeah, I feel like nothing has changed. For me, I've been looking since April, and I feel like nothing has changed in, how many months is that? 8 months? It's probably gotten worse, to be honest. We can dive into that later. So today on the podcast, we're going to talk a little bit about what Jessica has been doing the past few years, the job market, of course. And a little bit later, she is going to give me a personal reading. Jessica is a messenger. She's very spiritual, and we'll dive into that in a few minutes. Should be fun. So, how did you get into ghostwriting? Let's talk about that a little bit, because I feel like that's something that I never really have explored before, and I don't know many people who do it.
Yeah, ghostwriting is just another term for a copywriter who writes for businesses. So when I'm writing in a company's brand voice, I don't get credit. I don't get a byline. It'll just say like by the company's name. So that's what makes it ghostwriting. But I started working in marketing in 2012. And I was working for a publisher called the Austin American Statesman. And because they were traditionally just a newspaper, digital advertising was really new for them. So when I started working for them, I did both. I did print and digital, and I was in a blended role. I think my title was like marketing coordinator or account coordinator, like one of those kind of bullshit catch-all titles they give young people to overwork them and underpay them. And that was a really hard job. But I was so creative and I was so innovative, and I had this really awesome boss, and he's like, you can do whatever you want. And so I just started writing ads. And like some of my favorite writers, Augustin Burroughs, he's one of my favorite memoir writers. He started out writing ads. And so I was writing like recruitment ads, digital ads on top of like newsletters and social media. And this was back in like early 2000s-ish, where social was kind of new.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I was just doing everything from like booking digital campaigns to analytics to reporting. I was creating ebooks because a lot of the people on staff, digital advertising was new for them. It was just as new for me, but I just picked it up really quickly. So I started making educational ebooks to educate the team on how they could do their job.
That's crazy, because when I started, Instagram, LinkedIn, even Facebook, I think YouTube had like just launched, but social wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
And I feel like we have been in this world for so long that we've seen all of these turnovers happen. And I'm starting to see that the people, the creatives who are getting the jobs, who have, I'll like go onto their profiles and stalk them and be like, well, who is this person? How did they get this job? And it's a lot of people who started when social media was already happening.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm wondering if that has anything to do with like how we talk, how we present ourselves, how we write, how we design. I don't know. Or it's just an ageism thing, and we're just old as fuck and no one wants to hire us.
I feel like when you're a woman, you always experience ageism. Like when I was in my 20s, they were like, you're too young to do this. And then somehow I became too old overnight. And I was like,
I know. It's so crazy because we both look younger than we actually are. And sometimes when I would have an interview, there was this one recruiter, she was but she was like, how old are you? And I was like, I don't think you can ask me that.
Yeah, I don't think you're supposed to.
And she was like, well, you just look really young to be applying for this role. And I'm like, okay. Like, what do you say to that? You can't really say anything to that because it's just a weird thing to bring up. It's like, you saw my work, you called me for a reason.
And it
And
has
then,
nothing to do with your skill set either.
right, it doesn't at all. And so what? What if I am 25? What if I am 25 and I just got promoted, or like nepotism is real? What if I worked for like my dad's company, whatever it
If
is.
you're a savant, like what if you're just like really
Yeah,
awesome at what you do? That is
right.
their limited belief. And I've just made a habit of, I'm not going to co-sign somebody else's limited belief. That's their business.
Yeah, it's so true. It's so discouraging sometimes, though, to like get out of that headspace. I feel like a lot of people are in that headspace right now where it's like, I'm not this, I'm not that. But let's talk about what you are. What are you? How are you different than everybody else? So I feel like just flipping that can be
Yeah,
super
talking about your
powerful.
strengths, talking about like, this is what I'm here to do. These are my skills. This is what I can do. Everyone's got transferable skills. And
Mhm.
yeah, like focusing on that, like whatever skill someone doesn't have, you can teach that. You can
Right,
train that. And if companies don't want to like teach their employees how to do the job they hired them to do, well, then you're not setting them up for success. And like,
right.
why is that?
Yeah. Yeah, it's frustrating. So when did you realize that you were not just a copywriter, that you were, somebody who's really into energy and very spiritual? Like, how did that come about?
When I was 12 years old, I knew I was psychic, but I didn't have the vocabulary for it yet, but I knew I could do something that other people couldn't do. Like I was having premonitions, like visions, and then they would come through. It's like I see them kind of like here, but like out here, like in my third eye, but it's like projected for, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but I would have these visions that would come true or dreams that would come true. And I would just say stuff that I wanted to happen and then it would happen. I remember when I was 12 years old, I had this little boyfriend that broke up with me and I did a spell on him. That was my first hex. And I just watched The Craft.
Best movie. Did you watch the remake? So good too.
No, I didn't know there was a remake.
Yeah.
Watched The Craft older and I was like, yikes. They say some stuff in there that is not okay. But anyway, we had this little pet cemetery in my backyard underneath the treehouse where we would bury all of our dead animals. And so I just went out in the cemetery and I was like, I want him to get sick. And then that week, I don't know if it was the next day or like 2 days, but it was that week, he went home from school sick.
Oh my God. That's wild. How do we hex these people who are being like super mean to us? How do I
I have a
hex the
newsletter all about
haters?
it. Yeah. I have an Etsy store with spells. You can balance the scales because that's all a hex is you're balancing the scales and you're getting justice. So if you're on the cool side of justice, like you don't have anything to worry about.
Interesting. I like this. We'll talk about that offline though. So haters beware. Do not be mean to me or Jessica because we have the system figured out.
Yeah, and my ancestors are not nice. And my spirit guides are not nice. Like when people have done me dirty, I have seen them go straight to jail. I have seen them getting their cars stolen. They've gotten tickets. Like they've had, they got in trouble with the police. I've seen their careers go to shit. When people don't do right by me, my ancestors and my spirit guides are not going to do right by them. That's
Wow.
balance. That's just balance.
Yeah, I definitely believe in karma. I do. It's so funny because my son, he threw a water gun at my daughter the other day, like super hard and hit her right here. And she had this like giant black and blue mark on her forehead. And then yesterday at dinner, he dropped his napkin on the floor and he goes to pick it up. And then he smashed his head so hard on the table. We were all like, karma.
And I think
We
we
love a
get to
good
make our
karma.
own karma.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think of karma necessarily as a passive happening. I mean, it can be for sure, but if you want it to happen, like there are steps you can take to get justice
Yeah.
magically,
I
energetically.
love this. If you guys are interested in learning more about, can we call it psychic justice or
Sure. Yeah.
spiritual justice?
Yeah.
I will link Jessica's info underneath the, I'm gonna say show notes because now we're turning into like a real podcast. And you can contact her and talk it through. Okay, so should we jump into my reading now?
Okay. Is there
I'm
anyone
kind
you
of
want to
nervous.
bring in? Like, do you have any deities, gods, goddesses, spirit guides that you want to bring in?
Okay, so I do have a really weird story about that. Ever since I can remember, spiders have followed me my
You're
whole
a
life.
weaver.
And I don't know like what that means, but I have like, it got to be like so dramatic that at one point, so I went to the University of Florida and you weren't allowed to park your car on campus. You had to leave your car when you were a freshman in a garage. And so my car would sit there for sometimes months on end because you didn't really need it to get around. You called like the cabs back in the day. And so there was one weekend I was driving home to see my boyfriend, who's now my husband, and we talk about this story all the time. I even told it to my kids. So I'm driving home, it's like twilight, and I see in the back of the car, like it looks like I'm like passing through a bunch of trees, just like shadows passing through like the back windshield. I'm like, that's weird. I'm on the turnpike. There's no trees here, but I didn't think much of it. And then it started getting more and more. And then my whole back windshield was like black. And I'm like, what is this? And then all of a sudden, a spider comes down like this in front of my face. And I was like dangling. I'm like, oh my fucking God. A spider or multiple spiders had laid eggs in my car and they had hatched when I was driving home. They were crawling out of my AC vents, crawling up my front windshield. I pulled over in my car. I made my mom's friend who like lived close to where I pulled over drive my car to the service center. And the guy who serviced my car, he was like, I've never seen anything like this in my entire life. He was like, it was horrifying because there were so many spiders. They had a spider bomb my car.
Baby, that could have been like an energetic or spiritual attack. Like that does not sound great. But also maybe there was something wrong with your car that could have hurt you on the road. And so that could have been your sign to be like, you need to take this in.
Oh my God. Right. But crazy, right? So after that, anywhere I go, there's always spiders. Always. When I lived in New York, my room was infested with spiders. I had a spider vomit. My house that I live in now, there's literally spiders. There's like daddy long legs in corners. No matter how much we clean, the spiders are always around me. It's the weirdest thing I've ever experienced in my life. So what does a weaver mean? Because you said that in the beginning.
And it gives it, so whenever I get like a yes, whenever I say something or do something and my spirit guides want to emphasize it with a yes, I get chills. So when I said weaver, it's giving me like full body chills, like my arms and my legs. So weavers are really awesome. You are probably really good at networking. You're probably really good at assembling. So like finding the right people to do the right thing, being in the right place at the right time, just like gathering, weaving.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any hobbies that sound like that? Or interests? Things that you would like to do?
Well, I'm a huge reader. I read like over 100 books a year. I'm like obsessed with reading. I call my Kindle baby because it's so amazing. But I don't know. I really mesh with everybody. I was thinking about this actually the other day because I was talking to my daughter about her friends. And I've always had one best friend. Like my one best friend my whole life since 7 years old. But a lot of people like come in and out of my life. And I'll get really close to them and we'll stay close, but it'll be like different stages. Does that make sense? It's like
people often come in to help us learn something. So I also have people that come in and out and they don't stay for very long. When you're on one journey and someone is on another one, like your relationship is often going to meet its natural conclusion. And it's okay to let that go. Some people are just meant to be in your life for a season. Also, when you're constantly like leveling up, whether it's energetically or in your career, or you have like all these spiritual awakenings and you just start tapping into your gifts, well, your energetic vibration rises. And not everyone can breathe at your altitude. That's just the way it is. So people are naturally going to fall away when they are not in alignment with the mission that you're on, like whatever that may be.
Right.
So also your podcast is weaving. Like this is weaving.
Yeah,
and
that's
you're a
true.
water sign. Like you're a Scorpio, like Scorpios, or I'm a water sign as well. I'm a Cancer sun and rising. Like we're shapeshifters. And like when you say you get along with a lot of different people, like that's kind of shape-shifting. That's flowing. That's your water.
Right. I love that. That's really interesting.
Do you want to ask the cards like what spiders mean for you?
Sure. Yeah. What do spiders
Probably
mean?
like your sentinels, your guardians, your messengers, because yes, that's what they are.
Well, I shouldn't kill them then when they.
Yeah, let them live. So okay, I'm gonna pull a few cards. If some jump out, then we're gonna go with that. This deck. Oh, I want to do a shout out to this deck. This is made by Lolo Lavish. She has a store in Houston. Well, it's online now, called The Blue Dollar. She's a Scorpio. She's the high siren. She has a botanical store for sirens and mermaids. And this
I'll
deck,
link her store too.
yeah. All right. What do spiders mean to Jillian? I'm just going to split the deck and pull a few. Interesting. Okay. We got surrender and we got evil eye. So they're protecting you. They're protecting you. Think about Wilbur. Remember his spider friend? What was her name?
Yeah, Charlotte.
Charlotte. She was
web.
those webs to protect him. So you can like surrender to them because they're there to help you. They're there to protect you. They're protecting you against evil eye. They're going to protect you from like hate online. And yeah, you can kind of like relax into that.
That's wild. Okay. I actually just bought a spider necklace because I've been seeing them more and more lately. And for whatever reason, I'm obsessed with Etsy, which I feel like a lot of creatives are. And I follow this woman. She does like gothic jewelry because I have a very dark side, which I'm sure my writing has shown through.
Not the dark feminine. She is not for the weak.
Yeah. And so she did this. It was like this 14 karat gold teeny tiny little spider necklace. And it's just like, it's very beautiful. I haven't even worn it yet because I just like looking at it. It's so pretty.
So I wear a snake necklace because the woman that made this deck, Lola Lavish, when I got a reading by her, she was like, you got something going on with snakes. And I was like, they've been following me around my entire life.
Scary.
And they scare me. And she's like, when that's like your spiders, she was like, your snakes. She was like, they're either going to scare you or you're going to be like super excited about them. Like it's one extreme or the other. But snakes represent expansion and transformation. Like they're constantly shedding their skin. You know? And I do that often. And they also protect sacred spaces. So I wear the snake charm like on my throat chakra because, as a water sign, I'm connected to mermaid and siren energy. Well, what are they known for? Their voice. What do people want to take from them? Their voice. So I love snakes. I have a Medusa potted plant like in front of my front door. And she's got her snakes everywhere.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love the story of Medusa. I'm very like into that whole thing.
There's so many different stories about her, and like that's what I love about like Greek mythology is you can kind of take what resonates, leave the rest. But I think of her just from what I've read and learned is like she's one of the most misunderstood characters. And then she ran to Athena's temple for protection, and Athena was like, snakes in your hair. I'm like, that's victim blaming and shame. Like, that's not cool. And then Medusa was just in her temple, minding her business with her snakes in her hair. And then all these people come knocking on her door, breaking into her house, trying to unalive her for what? She was minding her business.
Right. Sounds like the job market. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so I feel like I should ask the cards something about my job prospects or I don't know, what would the audience want to know? What would you guys want to know? Will I ever find a full-time job? Or will this whole brand that I'm building, will this like be the way that I'm
All right, let's
supposed
do one at a time. We can do both, but let's do one at a time. Let's start with the second question because that one was fun. Are you meant to be an entrepreneur?
Yeah.
Is that what you want to know? Okay. Is Jillian meant to be an entrepreneur?
I'm scared.
I'm getting chills. Like, yes.
I feel like I'm at the
You
doctor's
already know.
like, waiting for results.
I'm just going to split the deck. Yeah, you already know the answer. All right. Drama and reunion. So let's talk about that because your posts on LinkedIn are blowing up. I love them. So that's going to point to the drama aspect, but that's also throat chakra. That's what mermaids do. Like this is a mermaid deck. So that drama is amplifying your skills. And then reunion. You've had some old bosses on your podcast, haven't you? Or old coworkers?
Oh, yeah, I did. Yeah.
Okay.
And actually my old creative director who was like my mentor for my entire career, we recently reconnected because he saw some of my posts.
That's it. Yes.
Yeah.
That's the reunion. Yes. So people from your past career or whatever, your posts are like a lighthouse and your words have energy and all of that is a magnet. And so it's going to pull in whoever and Yeah, this is not giving you like a yes or no, but when I said, should Jillian be an entrepreneur? I got full body chills. Yes. But it's like, you can be an entrepreneur and have a full-time job at the same time if that's what
Right.
you want.
Sure.
If it's what you want, you can do both. And the other one was, what was your other question?
Oh, will I ever get a full-time job again? Will I ever like work for the man again?
Let's do full-time job because there are good bosses out there. I have a part-time job and my boss is a queen. Okay, materialistic just popped out, which this is not a yes or no deck, but you asked, will I ever get a full-time job again? And the card that popped out was materialistic. I like materials. I like being materialistic. I think that is fun. Also, mermaids like are meant to be materialistic. You're a water sign. Scorpios, y'all are meant to be materialistic. However you get that, like you can get that from a full-time job.
Right.
Let's pull another card. The thing about cards is it's not black and white, and it's not always going to be a yes or no because we're working with energies. And so if you want a full-time job, might not get it applying to jobs online, but you might get it if you write a pain letter and email, a human being directly. That's what I do. But will Jillian get a full-time job? Let's get a yes or no or some sort of confirmation that's easy to interpret.
In the next year. Let's like timeline it. Can we do that?
Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 cards fell out. When a card falls out, it's important. Job.
Shut up.
All right. But here's what else popped out. Famous. We are meant to be famous. I am meant to be famous. I claim it. I talk about it. We're meant to be famous. Will your job make you famous? Maybe. Will your entrepreneurship, your podcast, your LinkedIn? Yes. Like you are famous on LinkedIn. That's cool to me. I think that's cool. All right. So obsession, empathy, and dance. Okay. Here's the thing you don't want to do in order to get the thing that you want. If you become obsessed with it in a way where you're gripping onto the feeling of not having it, that's lack and you're going to like push it away. But if you can feel the feeling of already having it and just feel good knowing it's on its way, you can kind of release, relax, surrender into that and then go on about your life. And that makes it easier for you to receive things.
Yeah.
And that can be really difficult to do. Like looking for a job right now, like I've been looking for a full-time job for 2 years. It has never been this hard.
Right.
And when I feel feelings of lack, which is like anxiety and doubt, I don't get calls, I don't get interviews. And then when I relax and I'm like, whatever, it'll happen when it happens. Then all of a sudden recruiters are calling me, hit me up.
Yeah. It's
That's
all
what I
about
wanna
giving up that control. It's always when you least expect it that something is going to happen. I do really strongly believe that.
2 more cards that popped out is dance and empathy. Dance, like I said, like go on about your business, like live your life. Like it's okay to want things. It's okay to desire things. You just don't want to be weighed down by it. You want to like ride that high of knowing that you're going to get it. So that's what I think dance means. Like just keep doing you. Just keep living your life. And then empathy, you got a ton of empathy. Your posts are dripping with empathy for the worker. You have empathy for the people who want justice, who are rebelling against oppressive systems. That's what mermaids and sirens do.
Yeah. I like that word. I haven't used that word before, oppressive.
Well, yeah, the job market is an
Yeah. 100%. It totally is. I wonder how that Workday lawsuit is going to come through. I wonder when
about discriminate. Was that the one about age discrimination and the ATS?
Yeah, so it started off as age discrimination from this one woman, but she was African American. So I'm interested to see if that like plays into it as well. So she's an African American woman with disabilities, over 40. So I was like reading all about it the other day when I was being attacked for my post. I was like, well, what's this Workday lawsuit all about? Because if you're going to say ATS system or the ATS is not filtering candidates, why are they being sued?
Yeah. Like, then what's it for? Is it just decorative Wi-Fi? Like,
Right.
you use this tool to perform a certain task and it's going to be as biased as the people that program it.
You know what someone told me? She wrote me in DM. A lot of people DM me. They just don't want to write in public, and I understand that. And they don't want me to use their names when I talk with them, but they're like, here, you can talk about this. She said that her company sets up these filters. So it's like, if you're applying for a fisherman, to be a fisherman, and you need 10 years of experience catching catfish, and then 5 years of experience catching goldfish, but you have 6 years of experience catching goldfish, but only 8 catching catfish, it filters you out.
Yeah, that's why I'm getting filtered out with my 13 years of experience, because people are wanting you to have that niche experience. And if you don't have that one niche experience, then your decades of relevant experience and transferable skills go out the window.
Right.
And that will not benefit anybody involved. It does not benefit the employer. It does not benefit the company. It does not benefit your long-term goals. That is a short-term decision that is rooted in lack and fear and doubt. And those places, they're not going to hire me and you. Our energy is big. Our energy is expansive. And it does not matter what keyword soup we put in our resume. Those companies are not a vibrational match for us.
Right. Yeah, it's really crazy because I haven't had an interview in like 3 months. So I don't know if anything's changed. I'm assuming it hasn't. Just because I stopped applying, I couldn't take the rejections anymore because it's so weird to me that some recruiters are not admitting that this is happening.
Sure. Others, it threatens their perceived job security.
Right. But it's like to double down on LinkedIn, like for that, so that one woman, that top voice, she had like 400,000 followers, and she must have reported like 3 or 4 of my posts. But for her to like double down on it when she has so much reach, she has a ton of reach, and then for her to double down on this lie, that was like really weird to me. Was that weird to you?
Absolutely. Is this the one where we talked about it in your DMs and I said she doesn't benefit from seeing your point of view?
Yeah, that was her.
People can only meet you at their level of consciousness.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Wow. That's like,
it's like, it doesn't matter if you are precise, which you are, you're clear, you're direct, you're strategic, you're intentional. If somebody doesn't benefit from that and they can't wrap their limited mindset around your brilliance, then they are going to double down on everything that you are not.
it's so crazy to me, this whole thing, I don't know, the world we live in, I guess. It's kind of like I feel like you should have been hired like 2 years ago when you first
That's
started
what
looking, because
everybody keeps telling me.
it doesn't make any sense that nobody sees the value that you bring. Because I feel like you're unique, you're smart, you're thorough, you have all of these things going for you. And I don't know, I feel like maybe, you know what? I was just listening to this podcast. This girl, I forget her name. She has a TikTok, but I think I have her saved. Stuff about advertising. Have you ever watched her before?
That's the handle?
Yeah, it's Stuff About Advertising. She's on TikTok. She's like this huge TikTok influencer. She's a copywriter. And she was like, advertising is boring. It all looks the same. And I'm like, gosh, that is so on point, because everything is starting to look the same.
That's what these dum-dums want that are making hiring decisions. That is all they want. They are intimidated by smart, intelligent people like me and you. And instead of rising, because that's what you and I are, we are people's invitation to rise, to think critically, to expand. And if they're content looking and sounding like everybody else, that is a sinking ship that they will go down on.
Right.
I'm getting out of the way.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder when that's going to happen, because I remember, okay, wait. So when I started, it was like the end of 2007. And so Flash had like just come out. And before that, everything kind of looked the same and felt the same, because you were in like Web 2.0 or whatever it was. And then Flash came. And remember like the Flash revolution, where everyone was like, oh my God, you could do
static to Flash, like a static.
Yeah. And now we're like back to static again. Like nobody wants movement. Nobody wants creativity. And so it's been like this huge flip in a way that you think about things. But I was actually talking to somebody a couple days ago, and he was like, did you ever notice, because we worked on some pretty big car accounts back in the day. And he was like, did you ever notice if you go onto a car's website and if you just like cover the logo, you don't know like what website you're on? There's no more branding anymore. It's
There's
like,
a story. Yeah.
yeah, it's like log on to the site, pick your car, and go along, and like that's it. There's no story. Like, what brand was it? Was it what's like the super creative commercials that make everyone cry? What was that? Was it Hyundai? No. What was it? Do you know which one? You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-mm.
What are those?
Did it have something to do with like a dog greeting someone coming home from being away for a long time?
Maybe. They were like so good, and they made everybody would like cry when they saw Subaru. The Subaru commercials, like those were so good, and I haven't really seen anything.
Yeah, Subaru, they seem nice. They seem outdoorsy. They're cool with lesbians.
Yeah.
Cool with nature. And their star logo is very Palladian. Palladian it's a galactic lineage. I'm a hybrid. I've got some Palladian in me. They're like love and emotional. I think of them as like warm and fuzzies. I got a little bit of that, but I also have a whole bunch of spice.
Did you hear? Okay, wait, this is something we could talk about. So I got really into blood types during COVID, because remember they were like, certain blood types don't get COVID. And so I started, did you ever hear that? Yeah, so it was like, if you were like O negative, which my son happens to be O negative, you would like not get as sick with COVID. I don't know, how like this whole thing. And so there is a blood type that I think it's like less than 1% of the population has. It's like 0.00 something. That is no known blood type on this earth. And they're like, they categorize them as like extraterrestrial. And I was like, oh my God, this is like the most amazing thing I ever heard. Did you ever hear that?
No, but that's so cool.
Yeah, look it up. It's like a whole thing.
Okay.
But I thought it was pretty amazing. So they walk among us, guys. You sure
They do. Like galactic lineage is everywhere. It's intelligence. Like it doesn't always have a form. It's not like a little green thing running around. Like it's just an intelligence that you can tap into and use to enhance your gifts, like writing, like art, like speaking.
Yeah. That's so cool. Okay, so let's do like rapid fire questions. What did you like all of them that I had? Those 4? Should I ask all 4 of them? All right.
Sure.
What's one phrase you never want to hear in a job description again?
We're here. We're looking for a rock star. We're looking for a unicorn, because all that tells me is you're going to overwork them and underpay them. There's a lack of boundaries. There's a lack of respect. And like, that's just another term. I hear workhorse.
Yeah, heard for sure. What creative tool or habit is non-negotiable for you?
Want to use AI.
Yeah.
I was a professional writer for over a decade before ChatGPT hit the scene. So when people are like, we don't want you using any AI on this writing piece, I'm like, so you don't want me to use Grammarly?
Right. It just makes it better. Yeah. People come at me all the time. You're writing ChatGPT. And I don't use ChatGPT to write my stuff. I write it myself. Put it in. I was actually using Grammarly at first and putting it into Grammarly just to fix the punctuation. And then I started messing around with ChatGPT, and I put it into ChatGPT, and it literally just fixes the grammar. I actually read it to my husband because I was so offended. And I was like, look, this is mine, and this is what ChatGPT did. And he was like, I don't see a difference. I was like, yes, because there isn't. It's like very humbling, guys.
I do write the majority of my LinkedIn posts without ChatGPT, just because I'm a writer and that's what I do. But sometimes I'll use it to fill in gaps. Like if 2 sentences like aren't flowing well together, then like I'll ask ChatGPT to like help make it more graceful.
That's what it's there for. This one guy wrote me this. He was like, we all know you're a faker because you don't talk how you write. Well, who the fuck talks how they write? If I talked how I write, I would pause every 3 words. Like,
that's just a hater who is a disgruntled fan. Here's what I noticed just in life is like, we're so multidimensional that shallow people cannot wrap their minds around us. Like, yeah, I talk more than one way. I write more than one way.
Right.
Am multifaceted. Like, you cannot put me in a box. So to me, that just means they put themselves in a box that's a wound that they have not healed, and they're oozing that wound all over people who cause them to feel growing pains.
Huh, interesting. I like the way you put that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Because, like, if JT Rowling only spoke the way she wrote, like, we don't live in Hogwarts, so, like, get over it. Okay. What's your moon ritual or weekend reset that keeps you aligned?
My favorite one in the morning. So, like, I naturally wake up super early, not because I want to. It's just what my body does. My higher self, my guides, my ancestors, a lot of times they wake me up in the morning with like a really cool message. So when I wake up, I'm like, thanks. Like, one time my higher self whispered to me, and also that's because of like your brain state, like your brainwave state. Like, when you're about to wake up, you're really receptive to messages. So my higher self woke me up one morning and she said, opportunities no longer miss you. And I was like, oh, but that was like 6 months ago. And I'm like, which opportunities?
What's the timeline on this spiritual guide?
So anyway, the way I wake up is without an alarm. So that's cool. But I wake up really early when it's still dark outside. So as soon as I wake up, I make a cup of French press coffee, and I do whole beans that I grind with a hand grinder, that I measure out the beans in the water by the gram on a baker scale. And I have this really strict formula for making French press. Anyway, so I drink 1 cup of coffee, and then I go for a walk outside. And I can see the moon, I can see the stars, my ravens will come visit me. I go sit with my favorite tree, and I'll see foxes. The foxes are not a fan of me. And that's understandable because I'm in their territory, and they're like, what are you doing here? Like, they're coming home from their hunt. So I'm waking up and I'm in their territory. I'm like disrupting their route home from a hard day's night of hunting
Right.
neighboring cats.
Give us like some insight. So you're in Austin?
Mhm.
And is it rural there to see?
No, it's really interesting. I live super close to downtown, but my neighborhood feels like a suburb. My neighborhood was built like in the middle of a forest, which I suppose is every neighborhood. But I think it used to be a tree farm or something like that. I don't know. But my neighborhood feels very suburby. Like, there's no businesses that I can walk to. It's just all like houses, and it's really beautiful and lush. And there's a ton of wildlife. There's ravens everywhere. There's falcons.
Wow.
There's this one falcon that I see sometimes. I looked it up. It's called, like, I think it's the Mexican caracar or crested caracar. It looks like a bald eagle, but
That's
it's
wild.
falcon. And they are really interesting. What else do I see? There's a ton of hawks, owls, and crows. I don't see a ton of crows. Vultures. I love vultures. So
Wow, that's a
you asked
bird.
about a ritual. Vultures eat dead energy. They don't just eat dead animals. So if you have a vulture following you around, you're probably shedding old layers, old lives, old energy, stuff that can potentially weigh you down. And the vulture is going to come through and they're going to eat that dead energy so that you can blast off into your highest timeline or whatever goal that you're working towards. Vultures are going to come in and they're going to eat that dead energy so that you can go on and do what you need to do. So I have had a vulture follow me around for about a week, and I love them. Like, he has a red face, and the rest of is just solid black. And I was on a walk on the sidewalk, and there was this gate to somebody's apartment complex, and the gate was wide open, and the vulture just sat there on that open gate, like, staring at me. And so I just stopped, and we just stared at each other, and I was like, oh, the gate is wide open, and my spirit guides are guarding the gate, and they're protecting me, and they're just like, girl, the gate is open. And so that was like Monday, and like yesterday I talked to like 3 recruiters, and
Wow.
yeah, vultures are awesome. So I'll leave offerings out for them. Like, I'll burn incense on my patio just to tell them thank you. Like, those are all part of my rituals. Involve a lot of birds. I work with Hermes. He is the Greek messenger god. Remember the guy with like the wings on his shoes?
Yeah.
That's Hermes. So he's my mentor, and he helps me write. Like, that's my writing buddy, and he's associated with birds. So he's the one sending me all those ravens and vultures.
Wow, that's amazing. Okay, speaking of myths, what is one myth about senior copywriters or copywriters in general that you would like to bust?
I want people to know that not just anybody can do that job.
Mm-hmm.
And ChatGPT is not a replacement for a copywriter. You need to have a human writer that is trained in copy and structure. The structure of your content matters. The structure of your content and the way that you set it up, that is what is going to appease AI, search, SEO. If your blog is in a really stupid format that doesn't make any sense, it's not going to rank well. So if you don't have someone trained on that, operating ChatGPT or whatever AI you use, like your content's going to suck.
Yeah, because it's a tool at the end of the day.
It's a tool.
It needs to be trained. You need to learn how to use it properly. So hopefully in the near future.
Power dynamics for power dynamic contracts for ChatGPT. I'm like, this is what you do. This is what I do. This is how you help me. And this is what I better not catch you doing.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, because you can teach it. I was watching a tutorial and it was all about how to teach ChatGPT to talk in your brand voice. And so it is possible. It is doable. It can learn and evolve, which is wild to think, but this is the future.
That's part of what I'm teaching my class on next week. How to find your authentic brand voice. And it's going to include prompts for ChatGPT and like how to work with it, because finding your authentic brand voice, that can be really difficult if you don't know who you are.
Right. Wait, talk to us about your class. What are you teaching?
It's called, so I'm in this Slack channel called Hired. Oh yeah, you're in there.
Yeah.
And this guy that did a lunch and learn just DM'd me. He's like, hey, do you want to teach a lunch and learn class about finding your authentic brand voice? And I was like, that's exactly what I want to do. Yes. Thank you. So it's November the 12th. I posted about it on LinkedIn. So I'm going to be teaching people how to find their authentic brand voice, whether you're a business person, like a solo entrepreneur. It doesn't matter if you're a bit B2B or B2C. It doesn't matter. Your brand voice is authentic to you and you alone. And so I'm going to be walking people through like how to get to the root of that. Like you got to know your origin story. You got to know what problems you solve. And then I'm going to send them some homework. So there'll be like ChatGPT prompts and like how to audit the copy that you already have. So I have this galactic brand voice audit that I do to teach people how to audit their copy to spot where it's misaligned. That's kind of like working backwards or reverse engineering it, I guess. So I will have like some similar information like that as part of the homework for that class.
That's so cool. We can link that class too.
Okay.
In the show notes. All right. Well, that wraps up our 4th episode. Thank you, Jessica, for bringing your words, your mystic vibes. Thank you for my reading. I feel like it was very intuitive. I loved it. I will link all of the information we talked about under the podcast in the show notes. And I will also link it on LinkedIn when I post about this episode. And you guys know where to find us. Subscribe, share our stories, DM me if you have anything that you would like me to share on the next podcast. And have a great week, everybody.
Get up on your feet, this is a shakedown.